Welcome to episode 14 of Modular Hippo and the dual electrical motor build that I'm building for a 36-foot aluminium boat that I'm building in parallel. In this episode I finally have something to test this rig with. I've got this temporary battery because I'm still waiting for my Seplos Prism batteries, and I haven't finalized my own 18650 batteries as well. So with this at least I can test the setup, so it will be interesting to see what happens, because obviously I have never done this before, and I am not a trained electrician, so yeah, let's see what happens. As the draw of the motors is way higher than what this little temporary battery can produce, I've got some additional components just to make sure that I can trip something rather than burn the house down. So I've got the following: an XT60 male contact, which allows me to easily disconnect the battery. That's good also for when I need to charge it. I've got two circuit breakers, 48 volts, 10 amps, and they should hopefully go before the actual cables go, which should be rated for 15 amps. And then also two crimp terminals. The max draw for this setup and configuration is 480 watts, which is nothing, but it will allow me to at least see if I have connected this correctly, and it will allow me to take some power for the 12 volt buck converter as well as it should at least get the motors running. So let's start with putting this on the actual battery pack. So this new battery has now been charging overnight and should be fully charged, and I have put the 10 amp fuses down here. I'm not sure if you can see it, and then the cable, the live and the neutral, is going over here and comes down to the input for the positive and the negative, which then goes to these isolation switches. So it's this one for that one, and it's that one. They're on an off condition right now. So when we test this, I'll switch them on to on. I will put the power all the way up here, and then I will put these two to on, and the negative, these two to on, and then that will feed power into the contactors, and the contactors will then feed a small current to the ignition switch. So when I press that, it will then release the contactors that will then release power into the motor controllers, and then with the throttle input I should then be able to regulate how much power I'm sending to the motors. So that's in theory. What will happen in real life is sometimes a different story. As mentioned before, the reason I've started with this little temporary battery is because I am redesigning these 18650 packs that I'm building, and I'm also waiting for the actual prison batteries from China for these Seplos boxes. So instead of waiting for a few more weeks for this to happen, I thought we'll give it a go with this smaller temporary battery. I can see 5 scenarios. Let's name them A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm gonna go through the scenarios, and once you have all 5, pause the video, put a comment in which of the 5 you think is gonna happen, and after you put your comment in, press play, and then we'll see what the consensus is and what people thought would happen, what actually happened. So number 1 is that we connect the battery. I open the isolation switches, and at that point in the A scenario, the 10 amp fuses will pop straight away because there is a short somewhere. Scenario B is that I connect the battery, I open the isolation switches, and I press the ignition switch, and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing. C, I connect the battery, I open the isolation switches, I press the ignition switch, at which point the fuse pops straight away. D, I connect the battery, I open the isolation switches, I press the ignition switch, of which the motor controllers comes to life, but as soon as I touch the throttle forward, I will overload it and pop the trip switches. Or the final one, scenario E, I connect the battery, I open the isolation switches, I press the ignition switch, of which the motor controller starts, I slowly move the throttle forward, the motors will spin, I'll turn them off, nothing pops, nothing catches fire, and it actually works. So if you pause the video here, put your comment in of which of the 5 you think it will be, and I will give it a test and we will see what happened in reality. Okay, here we go. I would lie if I said that I wasn't a little bit nervous. I guess it's better to start with a smaller battery than a 200 amp full-size battery, so let's see what happens. So, number 1, let's connect the battery. And those are the XT60 connectors here. So, the battery is now connected, going through the trip switches all the way down into here I am now opening the negative, and I'm opening the positive on these isolation switches. So the power is now going up, traveling all the way up here, and I'm opening the isolation switches here and here, and the negative here and here. So we now should have power that goes into these DC contactors. So that should now be live. So in theory, if I press the ignition switch, on-off switch on the throttle, something should happen. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So that sounded like a beep. We have a red light at the motor controller and also a red light at the motor controller here, which the power is on. There was a big click, and I assume that that was the DC contactors that went into an open position. So in theory, if I move this throttle forward, we should have some movement here. So let's see what happens. I forgot what this button is for. So, okay, it seems like I need to push that in to be able to move forward. So here we go. Okay. So that's interesting. We have movement on only one motor. This one started off and then stopped. So I would say that's a partial success. Nothing is on fire, and everything seems to be running. The battery is still cold. Cables are still cold. But the question is, why is this motor not running? So if we push the throttle up a bit, no. Ooh, very reactive. So, okay. I would say it's a positive test. I just need to figure out why this one isn't spinning. It could potentially be the motor itself or just some connection. So let's have a look at that. So after restart, I literally just turned the ignition off and on. The right motor is now spinning, but it's spinning way slower than the left one. You have a look. It's not nearly as reactive and is not nearly as fast as the left one, and that obviously would be a problem when you are running this against a toothed belt, because you want the RPM to be exact and a match, and as it stands right now it's far from it. So potentially you could use a V-belt, but not in this state. But if there were just a slight difference, and as it stands now, that's not good, and that's something that I need to figure out what's going on. Running some more tests. It seems like it's on the lower kind of input of power, which the right one is lagging, but as soon as I pull the throttle up to some higher settings, higher power, it actually catches up. So let's have a look. So my next thing is I'm going to fit 2 external RPM meters, and also I can monitor the RPM via a built-in app. So in the next episode I will compare the analog magnet-driven RPM sensors versus the internal one, and we can see exactly what's going on in terms of the speed on both motors. This is quite interesting. When I go in reverse on the throttle, it's actually the right motor that is more reactive than the left. And it seems to be way more coordinated against the reverse than going forward. Interesting. Thank you for watching this episode 14 of the electrical motor build. If you are interested in seeing the continuation and you haven't already subscribed, then feel free to do so. If you have any ideas of why it's not spinning equally or any other comments, then just leave them in the comment section and I respond within 24 hours. If you're interested in boat building and you haven't subscribed, then there's a separate playlist for that where I'm building the 36-foot aluminium boat in parallel to this. And there's also a separate playlist for the boat wiring, because the idea is to make the boat a off-grid boat where I charge all the batteries via solar power and also turbines. So I guess I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.